My boyfriend's sister-in-law gave him a personal gift for Christmas, and it bothered me.
How personal are we talking here?
That's the question, my friend. Well, throw away because I don't want this connected to my account. I just wanted to start by saying that I realize I might be totally wrong and insecure in this situation. I just really want another perspective or something because I just can't help the fact that this bothers me and I am admittedly feeling jealousy. By the way, this comes from Adder1452, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime and send them in.
That's right.
So I've been with my boyfriend for 6 months at this point. He has 4 siblings, 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we are the shortest relationship in the family. 3 of his siblings are married and the other is in a very long-term relationship. I think the shortest relationship in the bunch is 5.5 years. So I will admit, I am a bit intimidated and insecure there. For Christmas this year, his sister-in-law made him a homemade plushie of this little blue baby dinosaur-looking character from his favorite game, Guild Wars. The plushie is amazing quality and he absolutely loved it, but she didn't make one for any of the other boys who also love the game just as much. Not even her husband, who also loves the game. In fact, she went out of her way to give it to him without his other brothers around except for her husband. Her husband was just as excited for her to give his brother the gift as she was, but it just felt off to me and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
Man, I wanted to just say that it's crazy that they both enjoy the game, and it's also crazy that we all just lost the game.
Stop, dude.
I graduated middle school, Dakota. I've graduated.
You're the worst. Come on.
Why would she work so hard on something for my boyfriend and no one else? And it just felt like such a personal gift that I could never match. And I just felt like she totally took away from what I gave him. I did try talking to my boyfriend about it and how I thought it was weird. He said he didn't think it was weird at all because she had always been closer to him than the other brothers. Well, shouldn't she be closer to her own husband than him? He didn't get a plushie. I don't know. I asked him if he would give it back to her, saying he can't accept it. And he refused and said, I'm ridiculous. That's maybe a little too far, but we'll keep going. I just feel like a woman doesn't make such a personal gift for a guy unless they see them as something more. It's just how I was raised, and I hate feeling this way about something like this. I talked to my mom and sister, and they both agreed that it wasn't right and that this was most likely the beginning of her trying to push me out. I just can't help but feel like she was trying to make him like her more than me because he said that she has never given him anything before and this is our first Christmas together. I just don't know what to think or if I'm overthinking this completely. And we have another update and I'm not going to overthink it and dive right in. My first post wasn't popular by any means, but it got a decent amount of comments, so I figured I would update. I went a few weeks without saying anything else about the subject because everyone on here seemed to disagree with my side of things. Then last Saturday, he told me that he was going to be spending the day at his brother's just to hang out. We generally make plans on Saturdays, but I hadn't had the chance to make official plans with him yet. I just figured it was implied at this point. So I asked him if I would be allowed to go over there with him. That's when he told me that it was just going to be a day with him and his brother. So I reminded him that since it's his brother's house, then most likely his wife will be present too. So I didn't really see how it was fair. Ultimately, it blew up. And I told him everything, brought up the gift again and just how I feel intimidated by everyone and feel like his sister-in-law is on some pedestal or something because she gets to be there and I don't. I also mentioned how I just feel like I was being pushed out by her and the gift made me feel uneasy. He was frustrated and told me that he was going to his brother's and that he would talk to me later. So I spent all Saturday morning on edge and he just completely jealous. Then around 1 p.m. his sister-in-law called me. I guess he gave her my number and asked me if I was free to meet her for some coffee. I was confused, but agreed to have coffee with her. I expected it to be awkward. At the coffee shop, she wasted no time to tell me that my boyfriend had told her everything. Dude, she said she wanted to meet for dinner because she wanted me to see her face and see that she was genuine in everything she has to say. She wanted to explain that she had no feelings for him in the way I was implying to him and no intention of pushing me out. She said her original plan was to make the plushie for all the boys since they play the game, but it took her way too much time to make one, so she gave it to her favorite brother-in-law.
I mean, okay.
I think I could believe this.
It's like if she did this and then gave it to her ex-boyfriend, then I'd be more like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's her brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law. It's like,
no,
hey,
that
like,
weird.
Everyone, you want to make a good impression of the family. You want to build a good bond. Like,
John, we're going to get back to the story,
Yeah.
but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
Now back to the story.
I questioned why not her husband, and she said that she lives with him and he knew she was making it in the first place and that she could make him one anytime and just wanted to give that one to be a surprise Christmas present. I told her that I still kind of thought it was inappropriate since he was in a relationship now, and she just paused. I didn't say anything for a few seconds. Then she asked me if there was anything else that was bothering me. I used today as an example and said it bothered me that he went to her house and told me I couldn't come because it was a day with his brother, even though she would obviously be there. She told me that it is a day with his brother and that just because she lives in the house doesn't change that. She said that she just kept to herself doing her own things while the boys played video games with each other, and that my boyfriend came over to her when she was in the kitchen to talk to her about me briefly. I didn't say anything. I still felt a bit jealous, but I just didn't know what to say. She then asked me if I had anything else I wanted to get out, and I declined. She said that she didn't want to part ways without giving me some advice. She went on to say that she thinks I'm a very nice girl and that the entire family feels that way, and wanted to remind me that all of the spouses and significant others were new to the family at one point. She then went on about how it takes time to feel a closeness with everyone and that she went through it too. Again, I can't see the error.
Yeah, it sounds like one person has a healthy comprehension of like relationship dynamics in a family and the other one might not. Crazy hot take there.
Stay toxic. She then said that she didn't want to come across the wrong way, but that I needed to work hard on my insecurities or else I would lose my boyfriend. She went on and on saying how I am so nice and that I'm ruining a good thing by letting myself overthink these things and by being so insecure. She told me to really think about how I am acting over his own sister-in-law interacting with him. That's when my stupid brain made me say, well, if you were to get a divorce, then you wouldn't be his sister-in-law and you would be just another woman in his life. That was the moment that it finally hit me how crazy I was being. She gave me a look and said, well, we aren't getting a divorce, so... And I just felt completely embarrassed and apologized. She then very nicely told me that on second thought, she thinks I might not be ready for a relationship at all and that I really need to work on myself. That was pretty much the end of it, and we parted ways. I spent the rest of the weekend crying and hating myself. Oh no, my boyfriend didn't call me or text me at all. Finally, on Monday, he asked if he could come over, so he came over and asked how it went with sister-in-law, and I figured he knew everything, but he said that all she said was that he needed to talk to me. It turns out that he didn't talk to me all weekend because he was angry with how I acted about him going to his brother's house and then bringing up the gift again, and he just needed some space. I mean, honestly, I kind of,
I don't like the ghost. If that's the case, just say that. Don't be silent about it.
Yeah, yes. Communicate. Communicate.
Be like, I just need some space from you this weekend. We'll talk on Monday. And it's like, don't freak out.
Yeah.
Still care about you. I just need a little time to like process my thoughts.
We're going ghost.
Solo style.
We're going ghost. He told me that he wasn't going to put up with this type of behavior and that it is putting way too much unnecessary drama into his life. As I'm sure you're all probably guessing, he proceeded to break up with me. He told me he really cared about me, but just can't imagine how bad it will get in the future if I'm already acting like this with people who are family. I begged him not to leave and that I would do everything to change. And he just wouldn't budge.
Yeah, no, it's just, hey, it's,
At the end of the day, if that's, two got a tango, man.
I don't think you're ready for a relationship like that, OP. I think you need to do some work.
Now, I will say therapy is a good option, but there are other things like, if you go to Spotify or Apple Podcast or your favorite podcast app and look, you do this thing called typing. You search OK Storytime. There are 104 straight days of content that will give you good, goofy advice. Good advice, goofily.
Good advice, goofily. That is
so
true.
That is also, hey, listen, guess what? How expensive is that, Dakota?
Literally, like well, I guess it varies. It depends on where.
It's free. It's free.
Does it? Is Spotify?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Spotify is free. Isn't it?
All the podcasts are just free for everybody.
That's okay. So yeah, it varies from free to also free, and also $0. Yeah,
exactly. All three of those. Me, myself, and I haven't heard from him since, and I feel like I had my heart ripped out and stomped on.
Oh my God.
And I know that this is all my fault. I have my mom and sister telling me how it's good riddance and how he broke up with me so that way he wouldn't have anything holding him back from his sister-in-law. Oh, and this just broke me.
So there's the top down right there. There's the top down pressure.
I am so done with my family and the way they put these toxic ideas in my head. So yeah, not a happy update. From here, I am planning on working on myself and hope to someday maybe convince him to give me another chance. I don't know why I wrote this update. It just feels so good to get out, I guess, and further convinces me I need to change.
There we go. Hey.
We're left on the cliffhanger, but you know what? Hey, just get on that train and just keep going.
Honestly,
Keep going,
yeah,
you know?
that's not even, to me, that's not even a cliffhanger. That's like you've now become acutely aware that your family is toxic and you have behaviors you need to change. And that's like a lot of people have to spend a lot of time in therapy to even get there. So like you're doing great. Don't, try not to focus too. I gotta say they gotta be young if that's how they're thinking about the 6-month boyfriend and like all this stuff. It's like I get, 6 months is not a nothing relationship for sure, but it's also not like, clearly this was not a soulmate or type scenario. This is not like the end of your romantic life. It's like you don't need to, I would not get hung up on this one guy being like, maybe I can get him to take me back. It's more just like work on yourself, focus on you, and then the right situation will find you. It's like you find what you need when you're not looking for it most of the time. You know what I mean? Like,
and when you're doing all that self-work, how well is that going to prepare you for the next relationship? Like you are going, I feel like OP will look back on this, especially now that she's being aware. She's like, I want to keep going down this path. Like, I feel like she'll look at this as kind of like a pivotal moment of like,
yeah,
oh, this is good.